without further ado, I would really like to bring on Stephana.
Yes. Thank you for your patience too, Stefana.
Thanks, Stephana.
Everyone hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Yep, we can hear you great. We're going to leave you to it, Stephana, and then we're going to join you afterwards for a quick discussion.
Okay. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you
Okay.
too. Take care.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephania Abdul, founder of Suma Laundry. And today, I don't want to just talk about business. We're going to talk something more deeper. And it's very important to me. It's something very meaningful to me. And I hope it can be for you as well. We're going to talk about what it takes and what it looks like to move from labor to leverage. So I know that I'm not the only person in the room. I know we've talked about it throughout multiple sessions, just how often you feel like you're the only one that cannot be seen. You have to dim your light, and it's just a little frustrating, especially being in corporate, right? You can't talk too much, you can't be too loud, you can't be too ambitious. It's just like it's just something that takes away from you and not being fully immersed on who you are in the office and just different workplace settings. And it's really important as we go through this presentation that you understand the three things that you should always carry with you. And it's seen, trusted, and being heard. And being seen and being trusted will also lead to being paid. So when it comes to these three things, what I will be addressing in today's session is you're going to take away and have the clarity on how to be seen, how to be confident, and how to be trusted, and the courage you need to be paid. So my story comes from this. I've always been drawn to power and ownership. I remember watching Rugrats. I'm not sure if many of you can relate, but I loved Angelica's mom so much. She was always on the phone. She was in a limo. She was making moves, and you really don't really see her much. But when you do see her, she's just always on the go. And from then on, as a child, I knew that's what I wanted. And I knew that's what I was going to make happen for myself. And coming from a culture of just a Haitian American descent, being a first generation American, it was quite a journey because I grew up in a Haitian household. So my options were doctor, doctor, or doctor. And I knew there should be more than that, but I just couldn't wrap my mind around, what I could do to please my family and also what I could do to please myself. And that was really the concern. So with me having the desire to be what exactly Angelica's mom was, she was a business executive. That was my dream. I knew I wanted it to be mine, but I didn't want to follow a path that my parents wanted to be set for myself. So I ended up finding industrial engineering. That's when everything made sense because of industrial engineering. It's the business side of engineering, and it just made sense to me. You just know how things work. It's how to make things better. And that was always my mindset. So then I decided to enter corporate. And the one day I was told while I was in the corporate office was just you just got here. Focus on your role. I and it was more of the desires to want to learn, right? Because I'm in my dream job, I'm in my dream role, I'm doing what I'm passionate about. uh, But it was just like asking questions was something that you just really wasn't able to do. I love solving problems, but again, my light was being dimmed. I was being put in a box. And I just started realizing the reality of being in corporate and just always being reminded that I can't do certain things because there were always certain limitations. So as I got more into my career, I realized that it was time for me to build leverage. And that's when I decided to stop asking. I knew what I needed to do, and what was important was to build systems. And what that looks like for anyone is pretty simple. You get the opportunity to be balanced, because what ends up happening is you start having a family, you start being very overwhelmed because you're trying to balance working, being a wife, being a mom, being a sister, and just having all of these multiple roles. It just becomes very overwhelming. So with these roles, the most important role of all is organization, right? You have your chores, you have cleaning, cooking, and the most undesirable role for me, I can say, was laundry. Laundry is just one of those things that you know that it needs to be done. You don't want it, but you don't have any choice. And again, I'm just thinking of the things that I do throughout life, and the things that were taking up a lot of my time was laundry. And if I could pay to get my time back, what would that look like? I wasn't trying to start a laundry business. So what ended up happening was, as I'm washing clothes and folding everything, I had a breakthrough, and I had realized that there's a big opportunity for me to create a system with something that we currently do already, and it's laundry. I wasn't trying to start a laundry business. I didn't want that to be that at all. All I cared about was giving people their time back, and especially mine. So that's when the system shifted. Most people think laundry business is a laundromat. You think of machines, you think of buildings, you think of overhead, but I saw something completely different. I saw the opportunity that it wasn't the machines. What was important was the system. So I built pickup, process, delivery, repeat. That's what leverage is. And right now, it's operating in Atlanta. But this just isn't a business, it's a system, a systematic way that you can scale. Ooh, sorry. I think I probably. So everything learned comes down to being seen, being trusted, being paid. I give you an example of there are so many challenges that we have on our day-to-day lives. And I know that there's a lot of women that are not as happy to go back into work, you know, not enjoyable doing a 9 to 5. And I'm here to tell you that if you can just think of the ways that you do your day-to-day functions in a household, you can transition that to something that is scalable, where you can be seen, you can be trusted, and be paid. And the way that looks is you define what being in a box is. You stop letting other people define your box. It starts with visibility, and it just starts with one problem. So you can think of all of the things that you do in a day-to-day basis and realize and just try to figure out what is the problem? What are some of the challenges that I have that I could potentially solve for me to be seen, be visible, and be paid? All you need is one problem, just one problem. You all you have to do is identify that one problem and you own it. Once you find your one problem, that's when the system can begin. So the next step is identifying the clarity so you can continue, so you can gradually build that trust. People trust how you think, not just what you do. So overworking doesn't build trust. And we sometimes I see that we put ourselves in situations, well, not even situations, where we think that if we put in that extra time in work with them extra hours working on a project, overextending ourselves with project scopes and in whatever assignment that we have, thinking if we go above and beyond that, that trust is it's what's going to allow us to get those promotions. And what I'm saying is it could potentially happen, but if you can start understanding the clarity of what the issue is that you would like to scale, you can be that person to link that trust and grow. So trusting is more of giving the effort that you need for people to understand and see where you're thinking. It's more of having the self-expression to be able to think out loud and and utilizing your thought process in a systematic way. So now we can transition to your position value. You get paid for position value that translate what the outcome is going to be. You don't get paid for how hard you work. You get paid for how your value is positioned. So it's not even about, I've worked so hard for this, I deserve this. It's more of how have I solved the problem to create efficiency? Whether it's what problem do I have that can allow me to help save time? What ways that my problem that I'm identifying can be scalable in a way where it's time it could be time consuming, it could be something that causes a lot of stress, and it's all about identifying how to position it to value. So now it goes into transforming that effort. You translate that time and energy into something tangible and something that has a major outcome. And And what's important about this is identifying the way that it could be measurable. So, for example, starting a laundry service is one thing, but maybe there's somewhere, someone who's like, I love cooking. And I know that there's a lot of busy moms and families out there that would love to have a fresh home cooked meal without having to do the labor themselves. And just with that effort, you can scale that idea into something that allows you to be paid in a more scalable, measurable way. So, what does that look like? It looks like you being able to embrace your power, understanding what that power is what's going to allow you to create something that can be measurable, but also scalable. It's not about becoming someone new. It's really about unlearning, shrinking yourself. So it could be anything from the things that you know would add value outside of the workplace. You begin creating a solution that could allow other people to utilize your services. So the one thing that is important to ask yourself is, which do you need? You have to reflect and think of something that is core to you. What is important to you? What is something that is needed the most? And from that aspect, you can be seen, trusted, and being paid. When it comes to execution of identifying that core problem, what ends up happening most is we have like we create more, we create a plan, but the plan becomes overwhelming because we're like, oh my goodness, I see the problem, I know how to solve it, but executing is the most challenging part. And once you start writing your plan down, you become overwhelmed and you just feel like this is just entirely too much for me to handle. I just don't know how to execute it consistently. I just don't know. It's like I know what this problem is, but how am I going to make this scalable for me to be trusted and get paid? What that looks like would be where I come into play. A lot of people feel that when they have identified a problem that they know they can, that they have a solution to, they try to work on it all by themselves. And then it leads to them thinking, okay, I can do this by myself. I don't need to work on any resources because I know what the issue is and I can scale it on my own. But I can really tell you that it's extremely important that you use your circle of friends, you use a community to kind of help so that you can build it together. If you're someone who wants to build something bigger than yourself, that's when I come in. You don't have to try to navigate it on your own. What's happened to me is I identified that a lot of families, a lot of busy professionals work 9 to 5s and come home and still have to be present for their family. And one of the biggest challenges for me, aside from laundry, was washing dishes. Even with a dishwasher, I'm just like, if I could just have someone come over and do my dishes and put my dishes away, that would be amazing. So building together for me was more of formulating a community through Facebook and Nextdoor and other resources around me through different organizations, and letting them know that, hi, this is a bigger issue for myself, and I know it might be another issue, a bigger issue for a lot of mothers, a lot of busy professionals who need laundry services. And what that looked like for scalability was providing my resources and letting them know, like, hi, we all can rely on laundry services so that we all can have our time back. And that's when you become your own leverage. You weren't you don't have to work inside the system. You can build the system yourself. And what that looked like for me was, this is something that is a regular chore that everyone does on a consistent basis. And now I had the understanding of creating something scalable where a weekly chore becomes something that is crossed off of everybody's list. And it's something that is needed throughout the entire world, right? Because you need clean clothes. It becomes a hygienic concern, and there are different facilities that require services. So what I say to you is, if you ever want to have the scalability, if you ever want to grow in a way where it doesn't require you to shrink yourself, think of the problems that are around you and identify ways that it can be a systematic solution. And if you ever have a hard time, that's where I come in play. I love being an engineer because I love solving problems. And even with how AI is driven and so many challenges that we have outside of computer technology, there's still opportunities for you to use the skills that you have in the workplace and leverage it to something that you can build outside of the workplace, solving regular challenges that we have on a day-to-day basis. So what I leave with you today is, you don't have to spend your life working inside systems. You can build them, whether it's laundry, and it could be something simple as perhaps it's identifying a solution for moms or parents, or even classroom solutions. You weren't born to be the labor, you were built to own the leverage. And if you have decided in your mind that this is a problem that I see that I deal with on a daily day basis, this is a challenge, or this is something that I do every single day that I no longer want to do anymore, that's when I come in. I support women grow their concept into something that they can leverage and make it scalable, so that eventually they don't have to feel like their lights are being dimmed anymore. What that looks like would be, for whatever problem that you've grown to see, we create a solution that could be systematically in place, and it becomes something that is rotating, and you end up providing services to a solution and help solve and grow into something bigger and greater that you know you're worth having. So I just want to say thank you for allowing me to present this to you. And I hope that this inspires you to know that it doesn't matter what you're doing, it doesn't matter how you feel that you're being limited. You can grow, and the ways that you can grow is by simply writing out the problem, identifying what the solutions can be, and using that as leverage to grow. So now I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. That was the end of my presentation. And the way that I can be contacted is hello at sumalaundry.com. And it's more of utilizing the skills that you have, understanding the problems that you have, and learning how to make it grow into a solution to have leverage and to be paid.
You still there with us?
Yes, I am.
Can we bring Stefana back? Is she there still? Oh, okay. Can you hear me, Stefana? Let me look at this camera.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That was absolutely amazing. I just want to go to we have the shy Boston in the house. We're just going to go over to the comment box. Just get it. Oh, no problem. Stefana, if I could just ask you just to let everybody know like where they can find you if they want to look you up, they want to have a conversation. Like what's your channels and your handles? That would be amazing.
Sure, you can find me on LinkedIn at Stephania Abdul. And we also have our email, hello at sumalaundry.com.
Absolutely brilliant. And Stefana, I know that we have spoken in great length, and you know that I love your story. And what I do want to say is that working with Stefana, you're going to be working with realness. What I mean by that is some of us have gone through some things in business, and I call it failing your way to success. One of the best ways to learn is actually having to make those grassroots mistakes yourself. Okay. And when you are looking towards someone, especially someone that has a business template that you can follow, the best person that you want to be able to, so to speak, get into business with is someone that has been able to fail their way to success and been able to gone through those nuances and gone through things before you have come. Stefana, can I just? Oh, are you there? Sorry, my screen's moving. No problem. I just wanted to. I just wanted you to give context, by the way, just about the laundry mats. And so for me, your feed cut out for me before I got back in. So if I'm asking you to repeat something that you might have covered in the last 10 minutes, apologies, by the way. The feed on the other end of here cut out for me, just being completely transparent with you. But in terms of the laundry mats, I didn't quite catch what it was of the offer that you was talking about and how ladies can work with you.
Oh, yes. So currently with our laundry wash and fold service, we have grown it into a franchise, and it's something scalable for anyone who's interested in owning a franchise. And the great thing about it is a lot of people think that owning a wash and fold service requires you to have a laundromat, and it's not needed. You don't need any type of machinery at all. You don't need a laundromat. There are other opportunities for you to own a laundry wash and fold service without even having the systems of laundromats and machinery.
Brilliant. The reason why I wanted to ask is that in terms of, I had a couple comments that actually came up on my phone. So, Stefana, some people, when it comes to franchises and franchise models, they can often feel like, why do I want to go under a franchise? Because, I could do it myself. And before I even get you to answer that question, um, I'm going to take myself back to 2003 when I started my own business, which was a multicultural bookstore. At that time, I wanted to be the next Amazon. I've always been very, very led by my culture and wanting to rise our people up. And I started that business and I went bankrupt. And that's a part of my story that really makes me the person I am today. And after going bankrupt and going from owning properties, having all of those repossessed, and having to get myself back on my feet, I found it really difficult going back to work after coming out of entrepreneurialism. So I decided that, okay, what skill set do I have? I thought, well, I'm a good administrator, I'm a good communicator. I've got no money, so how am I going to get myself back on my feet? I don't want to go to work. My now husband and my dad actually just gave me £300 each, gave me £600, and I started a cleaning business. It took me, I'd probably say, about a good 2-3 years to really get that cleaning business to a place where it was providing me an income that I could actually live off of and sustain. And in that time, there was a lot of mistakes that I made that I had to figure out by myself. Okay. But I tell you something here, that cleaning business, oh Jesus, it taught me the grassroots of business of supply and demand. Everybody needs a cleaning service. It was one of the best and smartest decisions I ever made to get myself back onto that entrepreneurial journey. And I actually did it for many, many years. And it led to me getting some major contracts with retailers. It leveled me up in the first time into that higher end of the six figure. And that came from landing a really large retail client where we were cleaning their stores. Laundry is the same. You've got hotels, you've got Airbnbs, you've got people that run guest houses, you've got people that run corporate events. Just like I used to clean buildings. Whether you're cleaning buildings, you're cleaning clothes, it's just a service that AI is never going to be able to replace. And one of the great things about franchises is when someone has gone through all the mistakes, like it took me thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds to make those mistakes before that business even became profitable. Franchises can actually work really well for you. Sometimes there are people that have got that entrepreneurial spirit. They've got that grit, they've got that tenacity, but they don't necessarily have the idea, or they can't quite figure out, how do I go from where I am now to that feeling? And franchises can actually be really great. The problem with franchises for me, there's a lot of people here out there that will rip you off and they're going to try and sell you a franchise where it just doesn't make any sense. Okay. And one thing I can say about spending time with Stefana, she has made all those mistakes and failed her way to success. So, as an entrepreneur, you don't have to go through that. She also knows what's that like, and knows what's that. I can't get the words out. She actually knows what that is like. So because she knows what that's like, she wants to build a franchise model that's actually going to rise you up and it's going to be profitable. So Stefana, without taking, your stage over, I just wanted to share that. But in answer to, the women that might say, I don't want a franchise model, I can do it myself, what would you say?
Absolutely. So I was that person where I'm like, I can do it myself, especially with so many resources that we have now, right? We could easily just use ChatGPT, Gemini. We have AI. Why do I need this? Well, you need it because the amount of time, and just like Natalia mentioned with owning her cleaning business, it took her around 3 years to actually make it scalable. So you get 3 years ahead. You purchase and you're investing in something that already has the systems, that already have the websites, that already has the marketing structure, something that's already scalable. So that's what you're investing in. You're investing in the knowledge so that you can take it to the next level instead of starting from the ground and figuring everything out and making your way up. You're already have that leverage of having an investment that's already operating with the name. And now you're just putting a little bit more money into it to make more money.
Mm.
Stefania, hi, I'm Shy. Nice to meet you. I got a question. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hi, Stefania. I'm sorry. I'm Shy. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Sha.
Hi. We got a question from Tony, and the question is, it's actually two. For a hardworking entrepreneur, what is the first thing you do when you get a day off? How do you like to chill?
So I can tell you this, it's so different now that I have automations. And because I've scaled, what I like to do is go on vacation, sit down by the beach. I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks and also reading a lot of books. So that's my enjoyment. And just eating. I love authentic
I'm with
cuisine,
you there, sister.
and that's what I can do now. Compared to before, I didn't have a day off. Like I Because I didn't have any systems in place, I was doing everything myself. And
Right.
it and you get burned out so fast. So
Mm.
that's why it's important to invest in a franchise that already has the systems, so you can take those vacations, so you can get those massages and eat as much as you want.
Amen. And I will testify to that. I had my own travel agency franchise for a while. It was great because they could handle all the marketing that I didn't want to do. They could handle a lot of the automated emails, all of these different things. It was worth the investment to pay that each month for them to be able to manage those things. Plus, I also had their support when it came to working with larger suppliers. So, depending on what industry you're in, the franchise can afford you a great deal more benefit than you trying to go it alone and having to start at the bottom when you can actually walk in and potentially start closer to the top. So that's something else. And then Tony's other question for you is, what is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
The best piece of advice I received was stay focused on one thing.
Mm,
So, because I'm an engineer, like I have that engineering background and I problem solve so easily, I came up with so many business ideas. And
mm,
it's not saying that the ideas that I had weren't good, but because I had so many and I was like, I want to open all of them. It's like if you can just stay on one path, you can easier succeed and make money a lot faster than spreading yourself thin and trying to, you know, complete all of these businesses at one time. So just stick to one thing.
Yeah.
whew,
I couldn't agree any more than that. And obviously, um, we know that this summit's been a blast. It's going to continue for the next 3 days, but it's going to go on demand. But franchising is a good option to look for if you are not sure. For those of you that are listening to this, one of the things that you said, Stefan, that I totally agree with you on is about the automations.
mhm.
Without a franchise, you've got to figure out your business and your business model. Then you've got to validate it and get it working, which takes a lot of tweaking. Then once you've done that, then you've got to set all the automations up. You get to cut all of that out. And one of the things that I love about this summit, Top 100 Most Powerful Black Women, is that we're here to rise one another up. So when I met Stefana and I knew and I saw and heard that it's a franchise that actually serves women, I just felt like it was important for her to be able to come on and be able to deliver what she does and put it out there. Because if you are thinking about it, this will be a really, really good woman to work with because she's not going to rip you off.
And
Exactly.
one thing that I would like to share with everyone is I mentioned like you find your problem, and based off of your problem you have you identify the solution, and that's how you create the scalability. And when you purchase Sumo Laundry, what ends up happening is I had already endured all of the problems there is needed for business. So a lot of that trial and error, you don't get to experience that. You're going to receive the best marketing support. You're going to receive the best automations that you need. And it's not a test trial. It's something that is working efficiently and effectively. And what ends up happening is you invest and you get your rate of return a lot faster because you already have the system and you're just investing to utilize it and make it grow for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Could not agree more. So Stephania, everybody's got your details, correct? You gave that out in the end of your presentation.
Yes, it's hello@sumalaundry.com.
Okay, so make sure that you reach out to Stephania. If you're curious and you want to learn more, make sure you reach out to her. We're going to be doing some features in the community on email, just talking about the opportunity, talking about franchises, and how they can work with you. But Stephania, thank you so much for coming in today. I know you've got a lot going in right now. So I just want to say God bless and just thank you for turning up and showing up and being so amazing.
Yes,
Thank
thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for this wonderful event, ladies. I appreciate all the hard work you put into this. Thank you.
No problem. And we will definitely catch up, by the way, after the summit. Take care, Stephania. Lovely to have you.